Eating is a pleasurable activity that most enjoy, as it satisfies both their cravings and hunger. People tend to eat more, spend more, and mind less. However, when they actually start to feel conscious about the increasing numbers on the weight scale or the judging eyes from other people, it places eating as a projected enemy.
You might ask yourself, when does the judging ends? When do the insecurities stop? Up to what extent do we have to change ourselves for this society that doesn't accept us and always scrutinizes us? And when is enough enough?
You are not the only one asking these questions. Some may successfully cope with the judging that society throws at them by ignoring the criticism. But for some, those who cannot help but succumb to their own insecurities are left doing countermeasures on their own, one of which is controlling their eating, a head start towards the tendency of eating disorders.
In the Philippines alone, 1,585,325 Filipinos suffer from an eating disorder. Your classmate could be suffering from one, going to the comfort room to vomit what they just ate, going on a hunger strike just to reduce the numbers of their weight, all because they view themselves as fat and stupid, a subjective perception molded by the judgments of people around them.
Look at you. You'll never be as pretty as her. Maybe if you weren't so ugly, he wouldn't have broken up with you. You're pathetic. Stop. Stop saying that. I can't. I can't stop, and you know why. The mirror never lies. No! Shut up! Just shut up!
Eating disorders can affect anybody, notwithstanding a person's gender, race, status, or appearance. It is not as simple as reduction of food intake or binge eating. There are underlying issues behind eating disorders that involve feelings of distress over one's physical appearance or weight.
But get this straight, we're not talking about fad diets or lifestyle choices spurred by vanity. Eating disorders are psychological illnesses that often come with serious consequences. These disorders tend to fall into three main categories: anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorders. Those suffering from anorexia nervosa, most often adolescent females, essentially maintain a starving diet and eventually an abnormally low body weight. As in Lauren's case, anorexia can begin as a diet that quickly spirals out of control as a person becomes obsessed with continued weight loss, all while still feeling overweight.
Sobrang taba ko nung high school. As in, parang hindi ko nasusuot ang mga gusto kong suot.
Ano naging effects nito sa iyong body?
Nung sobra akong mag-diet, nagkakapasa na ako. Ngayon nga, may pasa ako. Parang nahihirapan minsan ako huminga ganun. Parang may something, lagi na nagsumasakit ang mga katawan ko. Dati nung mataba ko, hindi mo na nagkakaganon. Tapos yun nga, mga pasa.
During those times, have you ever considered that you might have an eating disorder na pala?
Kasi pag kumakain ako katulad ng nagkakabayan ko ng pizza. Pansin din naman ng mga friends ko, pag kakain ko ng gano'n, tinitignan ko agad ang mga braso ko, parang ang laki na gano'n, parang nagpapanik na ako na, feel ko sobrang taba na, ano ka na ng chat ko, tapos lagi ko sinasabi sa mga kasama ko, taba na ako lagi din na.
Conscious ka talaga. Paano mo na-overcome yung fear mo na kumain kasi feeling mo matatawa ka ulit? Paano mo na-overcome yung takot mo? Na feeling mo tataba ka ulit kapag kumain ka?
Wala, sinasabi na lang nila pag ginalaw ko. Taba ako na baka. Hindi naman agad
nag-start intensive diet na ulit?
Hindi pa ulit kasi dahil nga nung magpa-check up ako dahil nga nung mga pasamos, ang advice kasi ng doktor ay kumain muna daw. Kung hindi daw magra-rice, kumain daw ako kahit ng mga pasta. Yung medyo ano naman, yung medyo nakakataba. Kaya ngayon, feel ko naman nag-lose weight na din ako. Nag-gain weight ako ng konti. Kasi ngayon, nasabi, kailangan niya dahil parang hindi na masyadong magpapasabas.
Pag nag-rice ka, ilang cups lang?
Half rice lang ako lagi. O minsan lang parang isang subo lang.
After going through that stage in your life, how's your relationship with your body now?
Okay naman. Parang mas gusto ko na nga yung ganitong katawan dahil nakasuot ko na naman ang gusto ko. Nakakapag-crop up, nakakapag-skinny jeans na naman ako. Sleeveless ko.
Anong advice mo para sa mga taong dumadaan din sa ganung stage?
Siguro wag silang pagbigla sa pagdadayet. Kung pagka mali kasi yung ginawa kong diet, parang sobra akong yun nga, biscuits lang. Ganun. Pwede naman silang kumain ng kanin sa isang beses. Usually nga yung iba, breakfast, dapat madami talaga kainin sa breakfast dahil yun ang important meal. Yun. Kaya kung magdadiet kayo, di ba may breakfast, lunch, at saka dinner. Mamili ka na lang doon sa tatlo kung saan ka kakain ng kanin. Pero mas prefer ko pag ganun sa breakfast kakain ng kanin. Para meron din yun.
Heavy dapat.
Oo, heavy din. Yun.
Thank you. Miss X is one of the lucky ones who successfully recovered from this fatal psychological disorder. Right now, she's eating regularly, though small amounts, and has returned to her normal.
Friend, the DSM-5 actually delineates two subtypes of the disorder. The first involves restriction, which usually consists of an extremely low-calorie diet, excessive exercise, or purging, like vomiting or the use of laxatives. The second type is the binge-purge subtype, which involves episodes of binge eating combined with the restriction behavior. As you can easily imagine, the physiological effects of this psychological condition can be devastating. As the body is denied crucial nutrients, it slows down to conserve what little energy it has, often resulting in abnormally slow heart rate, loss of bone density, fatigue, muscle weakness, hair loss, severe dehydration, and an extremely low body mass index. And it's that low body mass that's the defining characteristic of anorexia nervosa, a refusal to maintain a weight at or above what would normally be considered minimally healthy.
Eating disorders are not simply the act of eating small portions or diet paired with excessive exercises. It is way more than that. This psychological disorder has the means to end a life.
The Carpenters. 3 years ago, they decided to take some time off, but they are back now with a new album called Made in America. And Karen and Richard Carpenter are with us this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. I haven't seen you two in a while. You really did. You took some time off. What have you been doing?
Well, like you said, we did decide to take some time because we've been going updated. But luckily, you can tell our sound, and that's one of the reasons, thank goodness, for the longevity. You know, it's called Made.
What the scientists found was that individuals with anorexia had a lot more activity than controls in a brain region called the dorsal striatum when they were making decisions about which food they wanted to eat. The dorsal striatum is a region that's associated with reinforcement learning, basically habit formation, and decision making. These results indicated to the scientists that it wasn't so much that the women with anorexia were choosing not to eat or choosing to only eat super healthy food, but rather that they were unconsciously slipping back into a deeply ingrained habit. So, it might be that treating eating disorders successfully requires more of a habit-breaking approach, like we use with substance abuse, rather than simply telling sufferers to stop acting that way. There's also evidence that other brain regions show different patterns of activity in patients recovering from anorexia in a region called the insula. The insula is a part of the cortex that helps the brain identify what it's tasting. Along with other brain regions, like the amygdala and the orbitofrontal cortex, the insula helps us identify what tastes we like and don't like. More activity is seen in these regions when we're hungry and less when we're full. These brain areas
So that with a nutritionist in order to provide professional insights regarding the said problem and in order to give necessary preventions. Ano pong point of view niyo po tungkol po sa anorexia nervosa po?
Okay. Although yung pag sinabi mong anorexic, yung tao ay namamayat kasi may fear of something siya. It's more on mental problem than tungkol sa food intake niya. Kasi yung tao minsan, kaya nagkakaroon ng anorexia nervosa is nagda-diet, maling klase ng pagda-diet, and feeling niya, pag kumain siya ng kumain, tataba siya. Or naman, yung feeling niya, pag kumain siya, susuka niya hanggang sa totally, magkaroon siya ng fear na mag-intake siya. Katulad ni Karen Carpenter, di gayon yung kinamatay niya kasi anorexic siya. Yun yung more on, para sa akin, more on mental disorder ang anorexia nervosa rather than tungkol sa food intake ng tao. Yun. Kailangan palagay ko mag-seek ka ng medical attention. No? After taon, yung food intake mo, kailangan balanced diet yung kakainin mo. Balanced diet na lahat ng sustansya na kailangan mo ay nandoon. Pero siyempre, dapat siguro consider yung palatability. Kailangan medyo masarap kasi nga nagre-recover pa lang siya from yung state na hindi siya makakain. Then yun muna siguro mga gusto niya. Tapos later on natin ipasok yung tamang diet. Pero dapat balance.
Parang kapag sobra po siyang payat po, ano po muna yung pwede po natin pakain po sa
Di more on carbohydrates. Energy-giving food, more on yung mga pagkain na mataas ang energy content or yung mga carbohydrates. So, katulad ng mga kanin, mga tinapay, mga pasta, more on doon.
Hindi po sila pwedeng biglain po.
Utay-utay. Hindi mo kailangang ibigla. Kahit naman, diga, everything in moderation, utay-utay. Hanggang sa kasi nga, nag-undergo pa sila ng medical treatment, hindi mo pwedeng bibiglain. Utay-utay din yan. So, ang ano talaga niyan, pag anorexic ka, ay medical, mag-seek ka ng medical assistance. Kung ano man, kung anong medical assistance na dapat.
Eating disorders are not specified to the female alone. Even men can suffer from this kind of disorders. Being unsatisfied with their body weight, they also feel the need to starve themselves. As long as someone feels a tendency to be insecure with themselves, they also have the tendency to change themselves in the way that they can do.
The pressure on women to be thin has been widely reported, but some men also fall victim to it. This man was a model before his battle with anorexia, which has reduced him to 92 pounds. April Woodard on the dangers of what some call manorexia.
He had looks to die for, a hunky male model with a totally ripped body, a six-pack with bulging muscles, and Hollywood good looks. It's frightening to imagine that this is the same man today.
I have no body fat, basically.
Frail and emaciated, virtually skin and bones. His skin is paper thin.
It's ravaged my body.
Jeremy Gillister is fighting for his life.
I do want to live, definitely.
The 36-year-old from Minnesota weighs a dangerously low 92 pounds. Jeremy is battling anorexia. Only 1 in 10 anorexics is a man. A popular term is manorexic.
Well, I want to inspire everyone, but especially men. Males have the same pressures as females as far as maybe not being skinny, but looking ripped and muscular.
Jeremy was an adorable, healthy little boy. He grew into a ruggedly handsome young man. His friends suggested he model.
I like seeing that I look good. I was nervous in front of the camera.
He appeared in numerous ads, many featuring his athletic body. Jeremy began working out with a passion, and he took on a chiseled physique any guy would envy.
I felt the need to be perfect in my body shape and size and muscles, but it was never good enough.
Nutritionist Joy Bauer doesn't treat Jeremy, but says that obsession over body image is a common trigger in male anorexics.
The same way that women are looking at magazines and rail-thin models, men are looking at those very same magazines, men with six-packs and ripples of muscles.
Jeremy says he slipped into anorexia's deadly grip after suffering a string of personal setbacks. He began combining an almost fanatic exercise routine with a near-starvation diet.
I was eating probably then maybe half an apple a day and half a sandwich, that's it.
The muscles soon disappeared, and his body took on an emaciated look. He even documented it on YouTube. Jeremy says his faith is helping him to turn his life around. Surprisingly, his refrigerator is now chock full of food, and he's starting to eat more. His portions are small, but it's a big step.
People ask me, don't you want to look like you did in those pictures? And I'm like, I'd rather be happy than buff. Life is looking better.
Someone we know might decide to be suffering, but then we tend to dismiss it as just emotional outbursts and insecurities. But we must always take this seriously.
Disorders are serious psychological problems that can lead to the death of someone suffering from it. It is not a simple insecurity about the body, as some might easily connote.
With this documentary, we aim to understand the world of those who suffer from eating disorders. We wish to inform everyone that those whom you call fat, ugly, and stupid might be starving themselves just to be accepted by this judgmental society.
Society never stops judging people. There will always be questions about ourselves, insecurities eating us from inside out. But to fight this, we must strengthen our mind against these temptations of altering ourselves to be accepted by this society. I am Darlene.
And I am Shena. And this is When Is Enough Enough?
Understanding